Hey everybody, how's it going? It's Griever back here, bringing you guys the latest behind the bar reviews. This week's chapter of One Piece, which we are all excited for, the results of the Kaito versus Luffy fight, chapter 924, entitled Ha? Really? Like, ha? Okay. Ha. Anyway, let's get into the review. Now, the beginning of this chapter, I really liked, because it shows Kaito still acknowledged what Luffy did and clearly sees his potential, because what nobody else sees it. Like the moment he is, of course, falling down, everyone's like, okay, he's still breathing, can't believe it, that's Kaito for you, it's crazy, and Kaito's just, it's like he's still breathing, Kaito's like, yeah, I knew he was. And everyone's like, what? What do you mean, Kaito? What do you mean? And during all this law stuff, but we'll get to law in a second, the exchange between Luffy, or unconscious Luffy, I should say, and Kaito's kind of talk to his subordinates is basically, you know, this kid, regardless whether it's his indomitable will to fight or his bravado or I don't know, but he hasn't stopped glaring at me this entire time. Kaito's giving it off that same look he gave during the fight, like he's looking at him. He's not taking him, he's not taking him lightly. Kaito is actually, like, we always thought that Kaito was a bit of like this stupid jock, you know, with the drinking problem and all that stuff, and he wasn't too much brains. When it comes to stuff like this, though, I think Kaito has a bit of foresight, a bit of insight into people, in that, just that singular mindset, because everyone's like, well, what are you talking about? He's unconscious. He can't even, you know. And it's like, no, that kid's been glaring at me. That kid, yeah. You know, like, he's seeing what Luffy is. He's probably acknowledged their challenge because, once again, when he walks away from this, he says, take him, put him in jail, don't put he's a pirate in the newspapers because this is Wano, we don't want that stuff. Also, his strength may prove very useful. So, he acknowledged that he does have a strength. I mean, it wasn't enough to do any real lasting damage to Kaito, but, in all honesty, who can? So, Kaito measured up probably the amount of hits he took and went, you know, okay, dude's not weak, just not strong. You know, something like that attitude. This is where he says, you know, bring him to jail, bring him to jail. And they try to pick him up, conquers Haki. Luffy, unconscious, conquers Haki. Like, boom, 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 takes down a bunch of guys. And kind of like, turns around and is like, another one? There are too many conquerors in this world. And I'm like, yeah, he's got a point. Like, this whole 1 in a million Haki ability that it seems like a lot of characters seem to possess. I mean, of course, we're only following the best of the best. We're following Yonko, warlords, admirals, all that stuff, you know, the Straw Hats, the main characters. Of course, we're going to see it more, but it is kind of ironic that Kaito would blatantly say it. He said, and even, now, I wasn't aware of this, I forgot, because we haven't seen him for a long time, but apparently Eustace Kid, Captain Kidd himself, also has Conqueror's Haki. I don't know if this was a big reveal in this chapter, or, I mean, I know a lot of people suspected. I wasn't sure if that was confirmed before this, you know, in an SBS or an earlier chapter. Doesn't come as much of a shock to me, but I was just kind of like, okay, well, Kaito knows this guy's got Conquerors, this guy's got Conquerors. Kaito's most certainly, the Yonko have all three forms of Haki. Let's just lay that out. So he's just like, there are way too many conquerors going on right now. And Shutemaru also acknowledges, remember, they don't know really a whole lot. They're not so informed like the rest of the world. So they call them jutsu or abilities or whatever, magic. And he says, wait a minute, that was Odin's jutsu. So confirmed, Odin had Conqueror's Haki. So again, still believe Odin's alive. That's my theory. What do you guys think? Now, during all this, Shutemaru's like, okay, blah, blah, blah. During all this, Law's looking onwards and going, okay, I've got to get Luffy out of here. The best thing I can do is grab him and go. And he's ready to, you know, he's like, all right, ready to use his skill. And then Boom, Hawkins is like, nope, Trafalgar, boom, boom, boom. And he's like, wait, what the hell is this? And he's hit with this like net-looking thing. And he's like, what is this? It's a sea stone nail, not even a sea stone bullet. It's a sea stone nail. And this is where Hawkins explains sea stone is like the ore, it's the thing mined in Wano. The greatest craftsmen in the world come from Wano. I mean, Wano is literally the place for all this stuff, as we already established. But we get a bit of dialogue about this, that only the people in Wano, the delicate craftsmen, can turn something like sea stone into something so finesse, so small and so accurate and things like that, like turn it into a nail. Like, it's probably a very durable, it's kind of like diamond smiths and things like that, or the people that can, do the 21 folds of a katana perfectly with the actual ore used in Japan, which is only available like 4 times a year or something. Like, real, like, they're comparing it, they're really delving into Wano culture, and I really, really like that. Now, Law seems to have escaped, or Hawkins is still giving chase, but he seemed to manage somehow to escape and is right now hiding behind a tree, like resting sort of idea, and going like, I'm worried about Straw Hat's crew, I'm worried about my crew, I'm worried about what's going to happen, this is all screwed up, damn. And Hawkins really wants to capture Law and stuff and says, you will not get away. We cut over to some other places. We see the fact that Kinemon is looking on and sees his wife, of course, Tsuru, and it's kind of like, after all these years, you're still a beauty, blah, blah, blah. And then confirmed. Well, as far as we know, once again, it could be a son or something like that, but Shutemaru, he looks on, sees Shutemaru walking away, which Kaito seems to have lost interest in during this whole exchange, what happened there. But he says, Boyashura or Shiradoji, whatever the official translation is, not sure yet. And it's kind of like, whoa. So there's some confirmation there. Now, when we come over from there, we see that Straw Hats, Hard Pirates, everybody's okay. The shinobi woman, Shinzo, something like that. The old shinobi woman, she managed to, apparently she's got a jutsu, but once again, more likely a devil fruit, that anything she touches will rot. So she created a sinkhole in the earth. She touched the ground and it created a vast down sinkhole, like over how time would do that to corrode the earth. So, kind of cool. Will it become relevant again? Probably not, honestly, but it's at least, okay, they did escape. I assume there was a trap door with tunnels beneath Odin Castle. This one works. Think my idea would have been cooler and find some, like, secret, just like the Straw Hat found under Marie-Joie and stuff. Would have been cool to see maybe, like, some great wall panels of the story of Lord Odin or something under there. We get a little backstory there. But this works, I suppose. So everyone has been deemed to be safe and all that. Not really a whole lot of new information in there, just everybody trying to get a whole little bit of comedy. And Kiku basically says, okay, here guys, you need the rundown. Here is the situation. After this, we see Inarashi. And we see that he can't forgive Kaito. And I'm like, yes, Inarashi's on scene. Because I was wondering, we all thought this, like, Oda has killed many children in the past. He does not kill kids in the present. And this was looking pretty close. Like, little Tama here. Like, okay, so Inarashi clearly has picked her up and is like, okay, we need to get her help right now. She will die. But, of course, she will likely be saved. I don't think Kaito's going to, like Kaito's attack, it was just kind of used for effect. And I really doubt that Oda will kill off the kid in this way. I mean, it would be effective for Luffy because as far as Luffy's concerned, she's probably dying or dead. So, good drive for Luffy once again. So Inarashi picks her up, and clearly we believe that she'll be fine. And I really want to see Inarashi Sulong form. That would be really cool. And when's Marco and Nekomamushi going to show up? Like, there's just so much stuff. Now, after this, we also jump over to see multiple places. There's a lot of stuff in this chapter. One Piece chapters have always been heavy. They're always heavy dialogue. Almost every panel matters, and you almost want to talk about every speech bubble and every 3 panels for 5 minutes. Like, you want to go into all the details and all the stuff. Unfortunately, of course, nobody wants to listen to me for over an hour talking about this. And, of course, everybody does it. So let's just say right now that the faces that Usopp, Frankie, and Robin make are priceless. And the fact that Robin made that face, just, I know in a lot of people's minds she is best girl, but that face, nope. My wife does something similar. I'll give you something personal there. My wife does something similar where she will make this face, and I mean, of course I believe she's, the prettiest woman in the world, and that just, from 11 out of 10 down to a 4, really easy, really fast. It's like boom, boom, boom. So same thing with Robin here. No. Don't like it. But clearly they're all reading the newspaper extracts to read all about it, and they're all making this face because they're like, oh, Luffy's in Wano, and every time. All 3 of them, same face. Like, seriously, how did he screw up the moment he got to Wano, pretty much? Now, after this, here's where we get to the end of the chapter, the end scene of the chapter. So we've jumped around to everyone, got some reactions from people, seeing that the crew is okay, Kaito's reaction, what's happening with Law and Hawkins. We got a lot of information. Shutamaru confirmed, unconfirmed to be Boy Ashura, and now we're in the place called the Rabbit Bowl, and this is some type of factory, prison sort of area, and we see that this is where they're going to take Luffy. Now, there's only a few key things to remember coming away from this. A few key things. Number 1, who is the fishbone guy? Like, Luffy, alright, he shows up and they're all like, alright, you swear fealty to Kaito, like this is, or Lord Orochi, blah, 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 all these people. And they're like, oh, here's the man, our new occupant, the one who took on Lord Kaito and Curry. And wait, I thought he'd be big and huge like one of the Calamities. So clearly the Calamities, or they call them the All-Stars now all of a sudden. Weird, that's a stupid name. Should be Calamity, way more badass. I'm going to keep calling them that. Anyway, so that's a clear indication that 2 of the other Calamities are at least Jack-size, Kaito-size sort of idea. Now, the thing is that they're feeding the poisonous fish from the river to this inmate. And I had to reread this a few times to make sure of this. But this is not the cell. This is not Kid, and this is not the cell that Luffy goes into, and we have no indication who this is. Could it be Odin? I mean, far reaching there. I'm reaching. Nope. So I'm reaching pretty far with that one, but nonetheless, could it be Odin? Maybe. Is it somebody we know? Could be. Could it be the lurking legend? All possibilities. Many a possibility. I'm not 100% convinced on who this is. Brand new character, something. But silhouetted. They feed them the poisonous fish, but they take away the bones. And at first they're like, well, why are we feeding, why would we take out the bones? Why is this prisoner getting such good treatment? And at first it's like, why? And it's because give him a bone and he stabs the guard, he's probably in a straitjacket or something like that to keep him from destroying shit, whatever this person is, but he's still using his mouth, he's still got to eat. He's eating the poisonous fish, and then, So clearly somebody we will be introduced to later on, clearly important. They walk Luffy by this cell and throw him in. From the looks of the panels, he's not beside Kid, but he's actually thrown in the same cell as Kid. That's what I took away from it in one of those last shots there where we see them very close. Like, Luffy's basically, his foot is almost on Kid's lap sort of idea, so I'm assuming they're in the same cell, not beside each other. But either way, Kid's there. We see Kid. He's still in prison, and they both say, you will rue this day, Kaito. Kaito will make you pay for this day. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, is this Robin? I don't think it's Robin, the one wearing the Kiton mask, the Kitsune mask, and playing a little guitar like a geisha. I don't know. I have no idea if that is the character, because they say, you. And then, boom. And then it's basically fade to black because we have a bunch of striped lines and Wano Part 1 finished? whoa, slow down there. This is the other thing I wanted to talk about. Act 1 is finished. So how many acts are there going to be? Is Oda doing this like a play? Is he going to have the 5 main acts of a play? Is he going to shorten this down to 3? Because this is supposed to be one of the biggest arcs. So if Act 1's already over, either Act 2 and 3 are going to be super long, or this is going to be split into 5 acts, which would be really cool and play style. Maybe he's going for something, he's trying something, I don't know, but I have a feeling, I have a distinct feeling, ladies and gentlemen. We're on break next week, so that sucks. But we all knew that was coming soon. We all knew that was coming. But starting at chapter 925, we aren't going to see anybody here for a while. I think he's splitting this up, Wano, into acts, so we can literally say, okay, you saw what Luffy and the gang are doing, you see what their situation is. Now I'm going to jump over to Zoro for a little bit. Now I'm going to jump over back to the Reverie. What's going on in the Reverie for a little bit? Wouldn't be upset at that. We could jump over and follow Law for a little bit. We could, there are so many potentials. Jump over and see Marco and Nekomamushi for a little bit. There's so many characters that you could follow for X number of chapters and not need, because Luffy's in prison and he's not going to break out tomorrow. This isn't going to be Impel Down Part 2. So it's got to be different. Oda's not going to repeat. He's not going to repeat Impel Down. He's not going to repeat Big Mom. He's not going to repeat Whole Cake Island. So I'm really curious. What does Part 1 end mean? Act 1 is over. And is he splitting it into 5 acts like a standard play? I don't know. What do you guys think? Because I have so many ideas for this. I'm sure everybody's speculating for all day about this. I'm exhausted. I have no idea. I've been racking my brain trying to come up with something super creative with key points shown. But I got nothing. The only thing that I can think of is the reason he's ending this is that he's going to jump back to Reverie. That, I would like it. It'd be cool. But will we do that? Unlikely, because it says Wano Act 1 finished. So we're probably going to get starting Wano Act 2 the week after next. And once again, probably going to follow Zoro or something instead. But once again, would not be unhappy if we continued the Reverie, because that was short, but it was so action-packed with so much stuff. Like, Reverie's got to be one of the shortest and greatest arcs in all of One Piece. So, I wouldn't be unhappy with it. I love world building. I love info dumping. I like to know more. So, really good. Anyways, guys, that's the end of the chapter, end of the video. What do you guys all think? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Please like, subscribe, comment. As always, it's always very much appreciated. We will see you back here next time. Drink responsibly. This has been Griever with chapter 924 of One Piece. See you next time, guys.